Right, hello and welcome to this week's angling blog. As you can see outside, it's grey, miserable and raining. So there's only one thing to do, is to go and sit in the middle of a field and fish for carp. The gear's all loaded in the car, so let's get bankside, get the shelter set up and get those rods in. So here we are bankside, underneath the bivvy, and I don't think I've ever set this bivvy up so fast. Arriving bankside, there are two bits of good news. One, we are a bit dry, we've managed to get set up in the rain, but we have managed to keep quite dry. And number two, as you can see on screen now, there are one or two fish in the area. It's about 11:30 and I am in no rush really to get those rods out. I can see that there's fish in the area and I don't really want to disturb them. I've got a good idea about the ranges that I'm going to fish at from previous sessions on this lake. So I'm in no rush really to disturb those fish that I can see right now just going over the spot. So what I'm going to do is take my time setting up, get the gear ready and really just enjoy it, chill out and relax. That is what these carp sessions for me are all about. So looking at the weather report, there are due to be breaks in this weather during the session. The session is going to last from around about 11 o'clock now in the morning, and I've got to be packed away and off here by about 8:30 in the morning to take my little lad to football. But between now and then, hopefully we can get a carp on the bank. It is looking like it is going to be a wet and windy one. Like I said, I just put them few boilies in, and already just where that duck is, just seeing the odd ghostie go over that spot. You can see him now, he's at the back of the wall, and I've put a couple just out where them ducks are. And the ducks will pick up the odd boilie, but at this stage I'm just going to watch. So I have already made one mistake, and that is the angle of the bivvy. Now ideally I want to be able to see the spots as well as the rods, so I should have really moved it round a bit or put it back a bit. But with the rain coming down, I just wanted to get the bivvy up and, you know, set and get the stuff under cover. But that is the first mistake I've made, and maybe later on if it does go off the rain I might move it. But it's just good at the moment just to see where these fish are moving. The ghosties do give the game away a bit on here, and it's an obvious spot. You can see there, it's a nice clear spot where a lot of people are obviously fishing, but them ghosties do keep coming back to it. So my thinking is, at the moment I'm just getting some rig sorted. My thinking is to fish this one just on a straight boilie because it's a nice underarm cast, and to put a PVA bag that worked last time for the ghosties just against that back wall, probably 2 foot off it. This is what I will do when I come of water. I'll look where the fish are and just watch. Not too eager to get the rods in, and it's good to see that a few fish are coming to the spots where they've just fed that little bit of boilie. I'm gonna get the first rod set up, and I'm thinking about this one being a PVA bag. But while I'm doing so, I'm just going to keep an eye on that spot there and see if Mr. Ghosty does come back. While I've been sat here setting up, I have been seeing the carp still moving on this spot here, So on that spot there, I'm just going to take it nice and easy, a simple approach. I've got a straight lead, 6 inches of 25-pound fluorocarbon, just to a simple knotless knot, and on the end I've got a single beaten iron boilie. It's a simple running rig, and I've got some tungsten tubing to pin it all down. The next spot, I'm fishing probably where them ducks are now, probably 5 yards off that bank, and that is on a PVA bag that worked on the previous session when you come on here with Abby, and we had those 2 beautiful ghost carp. So while we're waiting for the rod to go, I'll just cover my PVA bag mix, and if you watched the previous video you will have seen me go over it, but for those new, I'll just cover what I put in my PVA bag mix. The base mix is 2.3mm small pellets from Hinders. You can see them in there. The green that you can see is the method mix, again from Hinders, and you can see I've got some 6mm pellets, I've got some of the halibut pellets, and I've got some of the hard pellets in there as well. Just adding that variety and breakdown of the pellet. In there as well, I've got some of the test mix from Cheshire Particle. Thinking behind the mix is all those different breakdowns, you know, the small bits and pieces that are going to break down quite quickly. You've got the smell and the attraction, you know, with the method mix, but also what it does, it fills the gaps in the bag for you as well, so you get a nice tight PVA bag that is easier to cast. But that is what I put in my PVA bag mix. It's had a few bites on it this year from different places, so it is a mix I've got confidence in. And you just imagine out there on top of that there's a pink pop-up. I'm hoping it's just going to give me a nice base and a trap to catch a carp. So that rain is really coming down, and I think if Mark's watching, who I go fishing with quite a bit, he'll be quite proud. For me, I am quite organised. Everything in place, got my charging kit, my GoPro if we have to go out there, if we get a run, or when we get a run. Cooking equipment, got all my rig stuff. Just had a beep, I think it was the rain to be honest. And on this side, everything nice and organised. And this bit of kit you will have been seeing on the channel and have been getting questions on it. It is the fold all from Carp. Now what it allows you to do is, the rods I'm using are the XTND 10 foot 2.75 pound test curve, and if I zoom in you can see there the butt section goes in to the actual butt of the rod by 2 foot. The fold all is made for them opportunist range of rods. I say I've got my walled mat with me today as per the rules, but you can put your mat there, your rods go on the top, you've got the extendable bank stick which will go in that bit, and then you have literally got 3 compartments. In that one I put all my rig materials, my terminal tackle box, and my stuff for night fishing, you know, like my head torches go in that one, and my bank sticks and all my bait, and my weighing equipment goes in that one. For me, doing a lot of different types of fishing, what it means is I can just come home, pick up one hold all most of the time. If I'm just going the canal or a pond, I can fit me landing net. So you just heard me then talking about the fold all system, and the rod has absolutely screamed off with a carp with about, what, half an hour into the session. Well, as you've just seen there, the plan worked, and again on the simplest of rigs, the knotless knot, but unfortunately I am backleaded on both rods and it picked up the right hand rod, and it's just used that to dislodge the hook. Super gutted to lose one so early on. We have literally been fishing about half an hour, but conditions are good, you know, overcast, rainy. They're not bad conditions for carp fishing in. I've always done quite well, and I'd rather take these than boiling hot conditions where, you know, where you're seeing the carp right on the top. Not interested. So before I was interrupted, I was talking about the fold all. I think we're up to the part where I was talking about the bit at the back. In there you've got enough for a brolly and, you know, your net. So in that you've got the perfect thing for me and my lifestyle. Coming out of work, 5 o'clock, I grab one hold all and a seat, and I'm on the bank fishing for carp. Well, there's only one thing you can do when you lose a fish, and that is get a kettle on and have a brew. Now, people do ask, you know, about losing fish and how you deal with it, and everyone deals with lost fish in different ways. Of course, you get that feeling straight away of, you know, upset, but I am an angler, obviously, as you see on the channel, that does get out fishing quite a bit. You can just see there, one or two bubbles just coming up there, so hopefully, you know, there is a few fish still about. And like I say, I am an angler that does get out quite a lot. If you get out more, you know, you lose fish more, and over the years you get to a stage, I think, where you realise quite quickly after the capture and losing it that there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do now to change that. You can sit and dwell on it as much as you want, but there's nothing you can do to change it. And certainly in the last 5 years of my fishing, getting over losses like that has been a lot quicker for me. You know, that feeling of loss and not lingering on it, I do get over it quite quick. You know, you've lost a fish, there's nothing at all you can do now to change that about that particular capture. What you can do is change the session ahead and not dwell on it. So now, hopefully, with them few bubbles coming up over the spots, you know, we're getting 1 or 2 beeps, but I do think that's the vein. We've got plenty of the session to go. Let's get a kettle on and look forward to hopefully the rod going again. So one thing about being stuck in the bivvy with the vein, you see things, and just notice this clip on the bivvy, you can pull it back. So what it's done is opened up this area here, so now I can see that spot over there if I'm sat back here. The bivvy has got a peak on it, so that's going to keep some of the vein from getting down here. And what it means is I can just sit here now and I can actually see more of the spot. So fishing for carp can be a lot of sitting and waiting, but one thing that it does do over, say, trotting or, you know, fishing a pole, you do see a lot more of the wildlife. Obviously once the rods are in, you're looking around, and it has been beautiful on here this afternoon, just to see how much the place has come alive. You can see there the baby geese, they've hatched since last time I was here. You can see Mr. Crow with the back, he's most certainly waiting for one to make a mistake. But the whole pool just seems awash with green and the beautiful colours of spring. And hopefully after this rain passes this weekend, you know, we'll start to get into a proper spring, because everything just does feel like it's a month behind at the moment. So just coming up to 5 o'clock and it's like a different day. Sun's out, the bivvy's dry, and no doubt the rain will return. It does feel like one of them nights where we might get a thunderstorm. You know, that rain before was cooling, and now you've got the other extreme, it's warm and like a different lake altogether. So both rods have just been refreshed, new PVA bag and a new boilie on the boilie rig. And what I'm going to do now is getting up for 6 o'clock and time to get some tea on. Always keep it nice and simple on the bank. Got some bacon, some sausages, and there's enough there for me tea, and then obviously some brekkie in the morning. And as you can see, conditions have already changed again. That sun's gone in, the coolness in the air again, and the wind's changed direction. So the plan is just to leave them rods now for the next couple of hours on them spots and hope that, you know, a recast, a refresh of the bait might bring one of them in. It's time to get those sausages on and that bacon. And that's the bacon nearly done. So the big question is, how do you like your bacon? Crispy or like ham? My missus likes it like ham, and I've got to say, I like my bacon crispy. Drop down in the comments below your favourite. And when we're next out on the bank carp fishing, we'll announce the winner on that video. So it's taken a while, but that bite has finally come. It's about 11:15, and the far bank rod on the PVA bag with the pink hinders pop up has just melted off. It's raining at the moment. We'll give it a couple of seconds, get the camera gear ready, and we'll take a look. So this is going to be one of the quickest vlogs I've ever done. Been rushing around just trying to get the camera set up. It's going £18 with the sling, so around about, what, £15 carp. It's took a while to come, but more than welcome. About 11 o'clock, coming on that pink pop up. What we'll do, we'll get him straight back, get the rod back on the spot. So one thing I am learning is PVA bags are great. They work well, they're a great trap, but they don't really mix with the rain. You've got to dry all the rig off and everything, and then obviously you've got to be quick with your cast, because you don't get too long when it's raining to get it out there. So it's a case of make the PVA bag, get out and get it in the water. So how about that for a beautiful wake up call? It's about 4:45 in the morning. I've literally just woke up and was looking at the water, looking for signs. I was going to move that left hand rod if I saw it out, and the far bank rod beeped a couple of times and then screamed off. But what a beautiful way to start the morning. We haven't got long this morning. Like I said yesterday, I've got to be off this morning quite quick to take my lad to football. But yeah, wake up calls don't come much better than that. And just before we let him go, let's take a look at the other side, which is equally as beautiful. Proper made up with that. Makes all the effort worthwhile putting that PVA bag together. Let's get it straight back. So with YouTube, sometimes it all goes perfectly well, and then there's other times, like last night's fish, where you have an absolute disaster. I went to get me light to block the fish, and I realised I'd left the two-way screw at home that would put that there. So I give you Danny's Angling Blog Towers. Absolute palaver at what, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night in the rain, but well worth it when you've got a fish. The rod's back in, so we've got a rod on that spot there, and then the PVA bag out there. I'm going to get the kettle on, maybe a bit of brekkie, and I don't think it'll be too long before we lose the morning and we've got to head off home. But we'll have a recap in a bit. Let's get the kettle on, and who knows, it only takes a second, doesn't it, for those rods to rattle off again.